Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prospero.ai stock market live streams. We got to do a check-in with everybody today. The markets are quite red. How is everybody doing? I know there's only a few people right here at the very beginning, but as people are rolling on in here, I hope everybody's doing well, having an okay day today, although the markets are pretty red and we're seeing a few stocks, actually, to be honest, more than a few, make some pretty big red moves on the day. The QQQ is now down about 2.25%. The SPY is approaching 2% down. The Dow is down about 1.5%, and the Russell is pushing 3% red on the day. The VIX is over 20, up over 18% today. So a major day today. A lot is going on, and even the strongest stocks that had been so bullish in the rally are dropping today. It looks like almost nothing is safe unless you are, a real old school value stock. You might be doing okay today, but basically everything else is in the red. And we are seeing the SPY and the QQQ net option sentiment forecast this because the QQQ is at 4 right now and the SPY is at 0. So it's a pretty bearish day overall. I see JC is here. Hello, JC. Hello, all. Keep telling myself, hold the dip, hold the dip, hold the dip. Yes, hold the dip. And maybe even look to add a few stocks that have dipped we'll talk about on the stream today. First off, when George gets in here, we're going to discuss the trend he picked up in the fact that when you look 5+ months out on the options contracts, we are currently seeing not a lot of contracts. A lot have vanished for a lot of stocks, even index funds. So we're going to have to, this happened earlier this year, before the last drop. So George will give his opinions on it, what it means to him, how he thinks how this drop we're seeing today in the market, if it's going to develop further, and how he's maneuvering with this volatility we are seeing. You know what? It is a little crazy. The markets are still the SPY and the QQQ, like within 5% of all-time highs, right? Doesn't it feel like we're like a lot farther off than that? I feel like most of the underneath the surface stocks that are kind of the momentum movers have dropped a lot more, but the overall indices are kind of, holding up pretty strong. I guess the Mag 7 is, so heavily weighted in all of them that they're holding them up, but it feels like there's been a lot more or a lot bigger of a pullback than what the indices would show. So maybe some of these stocks that have dropped, there's a few stocks that have dropped 30, 40, 50% already. Maybe they're going to look like good buy the dip candidates. So we'll go through all that. Then, we can hardly keep track of this Michael Burry story. Like every stream, we have such a major update. We got some more news dropping today about he is now closing his fund, Scion Asset Management, which is just crazy to see after he's been on a tear of, first of all, going 80% short in Palantir and Nvidia combined, and then giving all of his reasons why you would expect he would let this play out for weeks or months, and just, lo and behold, a few days later, closing his fund up. So it's a very strange story. He is still marketing this date of November 25th as a day he's going to release some big news. So we'll see what Michael Burry has in store then, but it's very odd, the whole situation, the fact that it ended so quick, and I can't wait to hear George's final thoughts on, since this seems to be over now. Looks like Alex Karp won over Michael Burry, but we shall see. We're going to talk about a few more stories on the stream today. Apple, we got an update on their App Store fees. If you guys are a regular viewer in the stream, welcome back, by the way. We've had over 200 people tune in just the first couple of minutes, so good to see you all. Like up the video if you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and follow. Appreciate you all being here, by the way. So thank you for tuning in today. Like I was saying, if you're a regular viewer, you heard us talk about the Google and Epic Games lawsuit coming to a close, and the settlement of the App Store. Well, Apple made an update today. Maybe they're getting ahead of whatever will come their way, and I will let you guys know exactly the details on it. But I also want to cover on the stream, I don't know how many people saw the Apple sock, the multi-$100 Apple sock for an iPhone. It's a pretty, I can't wait to hear George's thoughts about the innovation of the Apple sock. But if you haven't seen it, look it up on your phone right now. It's pretty crazy. And I'm very curious on how many they will actually sell of these Apple socks for the iPhone. Next, we will cover Bitcoin on the stream today. It did drop below 100K. Let's see, where is it at now? Is it still below 100K? It seems like one of those days, I hate to say it, but where the market is just kind of gonna drift lower all day long like it has been, but we shall see. Has there been any recovery in Bitcoin? I'm not, my computer is like spazzing on me. Let me look on my phone. Bitcoin is at 98,000 now, so still below that 100K mark. And Michael Saylor, a different Michael, came out with a prediction of his own about 2035 today. So I will talk about that. It's in relation to the market cap of Bitcoin versus gold. And if you know Michael Saylor, CEO of MSTR, you probably know what his prediction was, but we will get into it just later on and see if Bitcoin or any of the neo cloud stocks that were the Bitcoin miners and all of those look like good buys at the moment with the markets dropping. A few more stories. Tesla will give an update on their business in China. This was actually a Monday story that got pushed because we ran out of time. So we will cover it if we can today. Tesla was dropping under the 400 price level, the lowest it's been in a few months. So good to give you guys an update on Tesla stock. And also, I have a question about the future of the car industry for George, if we can get to this topic today of, you know how like for phones, it's basically so dominated, like you have to be a USA company. There's Apple, there's Google, and that's, kind of it. Chinese phone makers are not really allowed. I'm wondering if that's going to happen with the car industry in the future, where since there's this full self-driving technology and cars are becoming more so tech and technology than even like a car, if that's going to play out in that industry as well, since you're going to need the trust of the company so much, especially if the car is self-driving. Good to see another comment. Hello, Mario. Mario said, patience all. Everybody relax. Deep breaths. It's just one day in the markets, right? Everything's going to be just fine. I was reading a lot of Twitter content today, and everybody was panicking a bit, but there was a lot of people, a lot of voices saying you got to zoom out and look at the future. So Mario's right. Patience. Um, okay. Wow, we have a lot of stories today. I am highly doubtful we'll get through all of these, but we will try our best. Take Two stock delayed GTA 6 again. I don't know how many delays this has been, two, three, four, but it is now for November 2026. And do we even trust this date? We shall see. But the first trailer for it was in December of 2023. So the final game will come out maybe 3 years after the trailer. So uh, we shall see. Sam is in the chat. Things seem like they're going to be settled next week. Next week, we have the NVIDIA earnings report, correct? So, NVIDIA has the power to calm the markets or make them more fearful. So I know everybody's going to be looking at that report if the market keeps trading on thin ice up until that date. Harry's on X saying, when will the guy come to talk? So George will be here probably any moment now. Usually comes in about 10 minutes after. So probably another minute or two. George will be in here and we'll get into the topics. Good to see you, Harry. Welcome to the stream. Alrighty, folks. That is going to do it on topics today. As always, if you have any questions and you just listen to me roll off the topics we have and you have a question about something that wasn't said, feel free to comment them in the chat. We're happy to address all of your topics, concerns. Let's take a look around the market and see how things are moving. We have a lot of stuff moving in double-digit percentages red today. So Tesla right now is down about 6.5%. Microsoft red, Meta red, Google red, Amazon red, Apple red. Let's see NVIDIA. No Mag 7s are in the green. NVIDIA is down 4% today. I believe we just posted on our Twitter account, NVIDIA has lost $200 billion in market cap today alone. These swings we're seeing in this company are crazy. And earnings for NVIDIA is 11/19, so it's going to be next Wednesday. So we will actually be live before the NVIDIA earnings report. Our typical stream schedule is Mondays at 11 a.m. and Wednesdays at 3 p.m. If anybody's new and doesn't know, we got pushed back a day this week, but usually Mondays 11 a.m. EST and Wednesdays 3 p.m. EST. Oof. Are we seeing any bottoming action in the market? Not really at the moment, I'd say. Maybe in the last couple of minutes, the market's trying to kind of pop back a little bit. If you guys have any tickers of stocks that are down 30+%. Let's get a couple of those entered into the chat because I'm going to ask George about his thoughts on buying the dip in some companies, and I want to have some good ones that you guys are interested in that have pulled back a lot. So some that I was thinking about bringing up on the stream were like, well, all of the sectors that we were covering that were the high growth sectors that were rallying like crazy: nuclear, quantum, all energy, the neo cloud, all of these spaces that have been going insane. A lot of those stocks have pulled back a lot. Quantum is down a lot. Oklo from the peak is down about 50% now, even more. No, about 50%, 40%. NVO, David, you wanna hear about NVO? What is that? That's Novo Nordisk, right? Yeah. Novo Nordisk is not a stock that had any rally in the past year, down 54%. But maybe, David, you might be right. Maybe now is the time to get a stock like that. Recently on our streams, George has been saying he kind of was interested in stocks that had already dipped. He was looking at Lululemon and some others. I'll check NVO's signals for you right now. We'll see. We'll see how it's doing. NVO has pretty good Prospero signals, 86 profitability, which I think in a time like this you'd like to see. 70 upside, 46 downside might be a little bit higher than you'd like, but 77 net options, 85 net social, 87 technical. Looks like a pretty good stock in the current market environment that we are seeing here. I'm going to take a look at the bull list in the Prospero app and see if it's less tech than usual or if anything has changed. Mo, you want to take a look at Meta? Meta is actually on the short-term bull list with very good signals still. 95 upside, 94 net option sentiment, 90 profitability. It has been interesting watching the pullback in Meta. How low can it go? It's one of those stocks you know it's going to work out eventually, but maybe a victim of its own success. It had such a solid run for multiple years, and the market did not like that spending plan increase for AI, which in this market weakness right now, it's probably not going to change his mind on. Bought heavy at 640, said Mo. So what are you down, about 5%? You bought the first dip, right? And then the dip kept on dipping? Is that what happened, Mo? I have a feeling if you hold on to Meta, you'll be just fine. Sam, you want to look at NBIS? That's one of the stocks that like the neo cloud stocks, that was insane for a little bit there. Wow, NBIS has great Prospero signals. 95 upside, 90 growth, 80 net options, 88 net social. Probably not a stock that's going to work in the weakness we're seeing right now, especially with QQQ and SPY in single digits. But I think when the market regains momentum, NBIS looks like one that will do very well again, probably. Mo, you bought the second dip, only up 1% year to date. Let's see how many likes we've gotten on YouTube so far. I always try to hit the 20 like mark nowadays. That's kind of the barometer for our YouTube channel at this point. We got some work to go, guys, though. We're only at 7. Come on, everybody watching on YouTube, smash that like button. I'm gonna help you guys out right now. I'll send a like. Well, I'll help myself out too. I'll like the Prospero Live. So let's try to hit 20 before the stream is over today. By the way, I haven't mentioned, but at the end of the stream, we will do the model portfolio update, which is when we make live moves to the portfolio. So on a day like this, it'll probably be very helpful for you guys to see which stocks George is adding and dropping. So stick around till the end. And even if you have to go somewhere, you miss it, you could always watch it. The stream is always left on YouTube and X forever, so you could come back to it and watch it later when you have a moment. I like to see that we got a few more likes though on YouTube with the call out, so appreciate you all. What do you guys think? What are your opinions? You guys have all the info. You see the QQQ net option sentiment at 4. You see the SPY at 0. The market action today. Do you think we are seeing the end of this dip currently? Are we in the final moments of the dip, or is it just beginning here? I want to hear your thoughts. I did see the CNN Fear and Greed Index was all the way in extreme fear. That was earlier today. I wonder if it's even lower. It was at like I think like the low 20s. So let's take a peek at it now. All right, I'm pulling it up. Oh, it hasn't moved much. We're still at 23. So we are in extreme fear. Um, but I think in April and the pullback and that volatility, this index got down to like single digits. So maybe we are near the end, but not at the end. We shall see. Also on Monday's stream, George said December is going to be the most important thing to look at for the year to come. So how we're going to be thinking about the market heading into 2026 and the kind of returns for the year we're going to be expecting. December is usually a pretty decent month and the Santa rally towards the end of the month. So if that doesn't occur and the market stays weak, it's kind of a warning sign, I'd say, for the upcoming year in entirety. Um, we've been covering on the streams in great detail the kind of murkiness that has been emerging throughout the AI and tech world of the continuation of all of those stocks. What's happening with OpenAI, Nvidia, Palantir, obviously with the Michael Burry stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to watch all of this play out over the coming weeks, months, and then throughout 2026. Let me see if George has texted me. This is a little bit longer than usual. We are 17 minutes in now. You guys got any questions for me? If you're new, by the way, we have links to the Discord, all of our socials, our newsletters, all in the description on YouTube. Not on Twitter, so if you're watching on Twitter, you can head over to our YouTube. You can find all of those links. If you're curious about, the Prospero app, if you don't have it yet, we have a link to the website. You could check out all of our details. Download the app right from the website. There's a link on there. It'll take you right to it. Yeah, but that's about it for the current moment. Wow, the VIX is even higher now. It's up over 21. It hasn't made a new high, though, in the past month. Wow, it really shot up in October, up to 27. So, um, not quite back that high in the VIX just yet. Jessica Catoni, you want to look at MSTR? We do have a Michael Saylor topic today. He made a bold prediction about Bitcoin's market cap. I don't think they have great Prospero signals. Let me take a look though. I'm surprised to see MSTR has 88 profitability, only 47 upside though, 37 downside, not great there. 75 net option sentiment, not terrible. I believe Coinbase looks much better in our signals, and I'll confirm, yes, 87 upside, 91 net option sentiment, only 32 downside. I believe every time we've checked recently, when we compare MSTR and Coin just looks way better in the signals. So we haven't really been interested in MSTR because of that. It's kind of a victim to how good Coin looks in the signals. So it's just a thought process of like, why would you want MSTR when Coin is, we're looking for crypto exposure and Coin looks so much better. Philly CK said thoughts on Tesla. Tesla dropped under the 400 level today, correct? Its upside has been pinned at 100 in the Prospero app for literally months and months and months, which is the long-term signal. So people have tremendous faith in the growth of the company. It seems like with all of their products they're going to be launching, the full self-driving, obviously the Optimus. So 100 net option sentiment has been there. 84. Did I say net option sentiment? I meant upside breakout. Net options is at 84, which actually, if you look at the chart now, it's beginning to uptrend in net option sentiment. I think that's starting to look much better. Net option sentiment has been lower in Tesla for a bit, but it is starting to rise and actually trend upwards, which is good to see. So maybe Tesla can hit a floor somewhere in this range and look to make new highs again. CoreWeave. CoreWeave has been one of those stocks in our signals that has been very volatile, but I think has been looking bullish recently. Currently 89 upside, 87 growth, 71 net option sentiment. I think CoreWeave is a lot like NBIS, where um, you know, as long as the market is trading very fearfully and is skeptical about the future of the AI story and super cycle, I don't know how CoreWeave can do, but it has pulled back a lot now. Wow, is it? It's at 77. I think it's like NBIS. I feel like it's going to be one of those stocks when the market is on better footing and you see that QQQ net option sentiment rise and some momentum come back into the market, it will probably do better. Yeah, CoreWeave down almost 10% today at 77. Crazy. Remember Buffett saying about fear? The Oracle of Omaha. I do have a story about him today. He was talking about how he's retiring from writing the annual. Well, he's retiring at the end of the year, regardless. But he wrote his last annual shareholder letter, and sad to see the market was really reacting to him, um, and everybody was kind of giving him his flowers for the last one. Philip wants to take a look at SUIG in Prospero. SUIG. Ah, I do not see SUIG. So it looks like we don't have SUIG in Prospero. So Philip, you know what you can do? You can click on the Discord link in our description if you're not a member of our Discord yet. And there is a section on there for ticker additions, and you can comment SUIG, and it'll be one we look to add. We have no signals for it right now, though. What the heck? SUIG, I looked it up. It says it has 2 employees only. That's a crazy one. Sam, is the Discord link not working? It's in the description of this video. I'll grab it and I will put it in the chat as well. Let me just copy it right now. All right, I got it for you. You found it? All right. I'll send it in the chat anyway. So if anybody's curious about the Discord, you can join it through that link I just sent. I just got an update from George. Let's see what's going on. Camera troubles. If he can't get it to work, he's going to join us in the Prospero laboratory. Looks like it's working.
Yeah, I needed to restart my computer. Sorry, I'm so late, everybody.
It is okay. Sorry, I was getting an echo. I had YouTube open in the background. Good now, though. So, George, I guess we have to kind of just jump right into things today. The market's in a bit of a tizzy here, and I'm very excited to hear your full perspective because we shared this update with what we're seeing in options contracts that are 5+ months out at this point, and how the last time we saw something like this where there's kind of evaporation of confidence in the market, it looks like, because there's option contracts not being priced for that long out, we saw a pullback, and we shared this on our Twitter and in our newsletter today. But we've seen a lot of stocks pulling back quite a bit today. Even though the market and the indices are not down that much, underneath the surface, a lot have pulled back a lot already. So how are you feeling about this pullback and your thoughts on the discover you made today of that options contract for long duration?
First of all, definitely everybody remind me, I've got to get out of SPCE before close. I don't want to play earnings. We got a nice gain on it today. But yeah, we're I'm just like looking at this mess. It's concerning, and I mean it's also a lot worse than before, because what I highlighted before was we were seeing a drop off on stocks losing coverage on everything less than 320 days before, and we moved it down to 190, and we just had to move it down from 190 to 150, which means they might drop off again soon. And we might lose upside downside coverage for a number of stocks. I don't know if I'm really willing to move it much lower than 150 because that isn't the long-term options markets. I'm already even a little hesitant to have it at 150 because then the numbers get a little too close to net option sentiment, in my opinion. But it's highly concerning because there's a big difference between something going down below 320, which is, those are leaps longer than a year. There's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't have options there, but if you're stopping to like make new options less than 6 months away, that means you're very concerned about the risk environment, right? And I think it's fair, right? Because we don't know 6 months from now if and I think I've zeroed in. I think we're dealing with a jobs problem. Like they didn't even report jobs. We talked about that that OpenAI graph last week that was highly concerning. I think this absolutely has to do with jobs. And in that vein, I'm very concerned. I'm concerned, and there's also that volatility question though too, right? Because you can look at the fact that maybe we have that big downside, a real bad job situation, and they're also talking about like 2,000, per poor person, and it's bad if they're not giving it out to everyone. They're actually focusing it on under a certain income level because the prior bailouts, I'm not sure if they were income related, but anyway, the fact that they're already talking about that, I don't think that says out of the goodness of their hearts. And we did talk about like how it's kind of funny that everybody's mad about socialism, but also talking about giving everyone $2,000 payments. Pick a lane. But you have on the other side, maybe the government gets so worried about the shutdown that they want to take drastic action. Powell gets fired. They cut interest rates 3%. That's also on the table. So yeah, I'd be, when we talked about this before, we said that if you have a view on the market, you don't necessarily mind originating options and just weighing the side you take. But if you don't want to originate them at all, it basically means your risk models are not functioning properly, right? And I could see why. And when I say not functioning properly, I mean like too much volatility. So yeah, why wouldn't we be concerned about that if institutions are basically saying like, oh, we don't really want to forecast this enough that we don't even want to originate options more than 5 months out? That's crazy.
I have a question. It's a little bit confusing to me because I I'm obviously off, but I would feel like, well, shouldn't they just keep making the options contracts, and isn't the risk on the people buying them, which would be retail? So like, why are they unwilling to even like have them be available? Because wouldn't the buyers of them be the people taking risk?
Just no, because you have to price the options, right? As an institution, people buy them. But if you're pricing them wrong, like you lose, right? It's not everything's risk. Options are just a way of moving risk. If you don't price them in a way and other people are buying them and you're wrong, like run that scenario. Let's say you run like iHeartMedia was one of them. Like let's say you make you make put options available and calls at like let's say a $4 strike near where it's trading, and then when you list those puts, a bunch of people buy them up and you move the price, but they buy them up like crazy. Like you can move it as it goes, but the price goes up, but still they bought a lot of those puts. Maybe you didn't raise it fast enough, or your algorithms didn't raise it fast enough. And other people have a view. Other people had a view that you can't do. Come in. Oh, I might have to get up.
No worries. I'm gonna mute George for a moment. He'll be right back with us. I see Dr. Strange. I saw your comment. We'll get to Oracle right after we finish this story, covering what we're discovering in the options chains on the 5+ month duration. JC also said tariff intake doesn't cover payout of 2K per person, so the numbers don't add up.
Well, I mean, even if it did add up, it's not like that. There's a huge balance sheet of the country, right? Even if they did get, enough to pay everybody in tariffs, it doesn't add up, but that still doesn't make a difference. We're running a deficit. That's like you're married and you tell your wife that you're in the red and you don't have money to buy a TV that you want this month, and then she goes and hands your kids $200 each, right? The kids are happy, they get $200, but it comes off your balance sheet from somewhere. Like, you can't just be like, oh, it's mom's money. Like, not like, it's all the same money. You're giving it out. It doesn't matter. Like, we're still running a deficit. It would be different if we had a surplus and you're like, oh, we're making so much money, we have a surplus, these tariffs added extra things. Then yeah, like, you have money on your balance sheet to do it. But if you're losing money in one place and you have a new source of revenue, that doesn't mean you're still not losing money overall. We do not have the money. Like, and I certainly think we don't have the money if people are losing their fucking health care. Like, because we won't subsidize it anymore. And then we're paying other people money. That's weird. If we're funding something, it should be making sure people have health care. I just heard a really sad story from a close friend of mine today, who was talking about, his wife was diagnosed with, a really bad, aggressive form of cancer. And they're pretty well off. And they have to sell their house. Like, nothing is covered because the medical didn't want to move as fast as she really needed. And he's going to have to sell his house. Like, these are people with good jobs for a long time, money. That's sad. That's the state of this country. And we're told that our healthcare system, that's why we pay, because, oh, we don't want socialized healthcare because they might not cover it. Well, guess what? Even in this place where we pay a bunch of money for it, they don't cover it anyway, unless it's convenient for them. So, no, I think it's crazy to say we have this tariff revenue. You don't. We're losing money. We're spending more money than we ever had. What happened to the Doge thing? Oh, we're going to cut billions and billions of dollars from the budget. Like, that's what was run on. Was it not? This administration is spending more money than the last, just like the last spent more than the one before that. That's the one trend. But I gotta say, at least the Democrats don't run on that. They don't say they're going to save you money. The Republicans were claiming that's why a lot of people voted for them, that they were going to cut costs, get our budget more balanced. I don't see it. I don't see it, and I don't like seeing a ballroom get built when people's health care subsidies are getting cut. I don't like seeing that either.
Well, I think a lot of, the rant is these are realizations that have been kind of just overlooked by the market during this AI rally. And I see Dr. Strange was commenting about Oracle. I didn't realize they went all the way from 350 down to 216. I mean, this was a stock that was could do no wrong just a few months ago. We're seeing a lot of these stocks make big moves right now. How do you feel about like the drop we've seen already in a lot of these companies?
That
Yeah.
original run made no sense. Like, if you remember the last earnings, I think what it went like 50%, something crazy like that. That made no sense.
Hmm.
Like, it's one thing if you see like a Centrus Energy, like something like that, that totally changes their business model, right? Um, Oracle shouldn't go up 50%. I mean, unless they're like 5xing their revenue. Like, we saw, like, I think we saw at one point Nvidia at a huge size. I think they might have like 2.3x their revenue. They didn't go up 50%. So yeah, some of these numbers were crazy. Like you look at that and you're just like, what the hell is going on with the market? I don't know, but it got crazy, and there's a correction, and yeah, like you see the value in watching these streams live. We saw NBIS, Nvidia. Uh, I think we looked at Iron or Cipher Mining. We looked at Astera Labs. All of them had lower net option sentiment by a good degree on Tuesday. Look what's happened since.
It's
So that was an interesting thing on our Discord, actually, that came out. Someone was talking about, like, what levels of QQQ net option sentiment. And, QQQ net option sentiment was a little higher. SPY was a little lower, but it was even like 20 or 30. SPY was at 0, right? So we made a concerted effort. We're like, we're going to take that more seriously. But also, all of those net option sentiment going down. And I have to say, NVIDIA net option sentiment is one of the more interesting charts that I've seen as a single stock there, because you're actually kind of seeing NVIDIA net option sentiment lead NVIDIA, but also lead the market. I mean, obviously, it makes up a big part of these indexes now, but go look at that chart. It's very interesting.
Well, I think Nvidia, I know they report next week, and God forbid they make a move like some of these companies have that have dropped already, where the indices would be. It's kind of crazy. You scan the market and there's a lot of tumult going on, and then you look at like the QQQ and we're within like 5% of the all-time high, maybe even 4%. But you look at all these sectors that we've been covering, like quantum and nuclear and all these high growth, the neo cloud, they've all dropped like 20, 30, 40, 50% in these stocks. At what point do some of those stocks become interesting to you? And do you expect the overall indices to see a pullback like some of these companies have? Or do you think those Mag 7 are just going to hold it up?
They only become interesting if um, uh, we see a momentum market again. Those were momentum stocks in a momentum market. I'm not going to touch them until we see evidence that the momentum market has switched. We haven't seen that.
It is interesting. Sam said ASTS still looks promising. Some of them have good signals still, so I guess you just got to wait it out until we see the QQQ and SPY, like you were saying, regain some momentum and look better
80 is
on the
okay.
signals.
Like, yeah, I mean, LEU, LEU is like one that I'm hanging in there because I do think it has more structural advantages. But everything. I mean, it's another thing where the sector was getting overvalued. So who knows?
Well, George, it seems like every stream we've had for the past couple, there's been a major update from Michael Burry, and this one is no exception. I was shocked to see when I looked on Twitter and saw that he was closing Scion Asset Management, and just days after, and like we've been covering the story of how he went 80% short Palantir and Nvidia. Then he came out a few days later and gave his thesis as to why. I never would have imagined he would flip so quickly. Like you'd think he'd be in this thing for weeks or months, or but were you as shocked as I to see that news that Scion is wrapping up?
Um, I don't even want to say what I think might be going on there.
Say it.
Um, but I will say that I'll say it this way. Who doesn't want the perception around the market to be bad? Maybe the most. Who is it most important to?
The big
Based on
man.
headlines that we've seen. Um, that's who I think. I think that same person or people around that person might not want that fund to exist anymore, and those people don't seem opposed to strong arming anyone to get what they want. I think that's how I want to say it.
I think you laid it all out there. It's crazy. Hmm. I
It
didn't
doesn't make any
I didn't
sense. Like it
yeah.
doesn't like it's not him. Like you gotta know his history. When he was putting on the Big Short, everybody and their mother was trying to get him to shut down, sell because they thought they were going to lose all their money, and all the pressure in the world from his investors was there, and he still didn't shut down. Um, on the other hand, you have this profitable options trade that he was right on that everybody's talking about, and that clearly created like that might have honestly been the start of this thing going down. Um, if I was if I put the value on me and the way I evaluated myself and the way I expected other people to evaluate me on the market, I certainly would not want Michael Burry operating or saying anything on an ongoing basis about why he thought the market was going down.
Fascinating stuff. And he is still marketing like this November 25th date. So maybe he'll go quiet until then, but maybe there'll be another turn in this story. We'll have to wait and see. But I was not expecting that response. So that's fascinating. We will keep our eyes peeled to see if there's any more updates with it. I want to turn to now. I don't know if you caught wind of the Apple sock that was launched at all. If you didn't, maybe look it up right now while I talk about the other part of the story.
Full stop.
Yeah, look up like Apple iPhone sock. So I wanted to give an update because we talked about the Google Epic Games settlement of the App Store, and Apple came out and made an update today. They're going to cut App Store fees from 30 to 15% for apps that enter their mini apps partner program. So it seems like even though they're cutting fees, they're probably going to gain business from this because they're going to handle like, or actually they're going to get access to data too, like users' purchase history, ages, process in-app purchases still. So I wanted to give the update for Apple in that sense because we were talking about it recently. But also they launched this $230 iPhone sock, which is the breakneck innovation that I know you love from Apple. So I'm wondering how many they will sell. Hey, I see Tom made it to the stream. Thank you for letting me know your channel does live streams. You are very welcome. You saw our short video this morning, right? I appreciate you stopping by.
What is this? Just saw your comment. Oh, I didn't see that. So a cut off sock. What? Oh. Yeah, I don't know I think they deserve mockery for that. It's $230. Like, what are they thinking? I mean, I don't know. It's like, I mean, we keep saying it, but it's like desperate.
Um, I think we have time for one more topic, probably. So, which one should I choose? I think this one is the one I want to go to with Bitcoin falling under the 100K level today for the first time in a long time. It had been holding it so well. It's not great seeing that happen with the headline that Michael Saylor came out this morning saying that Bitcoin will have a larger market cap than gold in 2035, and he picked that year because that's the year where 99% of all of the Bitcoin will have been mined. And I looked up the Bitcoin and gold market caps. Bitcoin is currently around 2 trillion, gold is around 30 trillion. But if you factor forward, you'd imagine gold will be up, I don't know, in the next decade at least 50 to 100%, right? So we're talking about like a $50 trillion asset. That would be quite the move for Bitcoin. Do you think that's in the cards, even if it's a small possibility, or no?
Yeah, well, I'm looking back. So the last time it hit 98 was the week of 6/28, 98,315. It's at 98,569. I mean, it's in trouble. Coinbase is one of the things I'm thinking about dropping. I don't even know how many, like, it's a very tough market to read. But it's concerning. I think that when people are concerned, they definitely get rid of their Bitcoin and they definitely start to like Bitcoin is an easy thing to short.
Question from Tom. Wonder if it will still be worth mining without block rewards. Michael says yes, but I'm not quite sure. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll only like it will always be worth mining, but I think the thing to note is like how much to who, right? I think the trend that we've seen in places like Iron and Cypher mining, right? We're already seeing them say, hey, we have all this high value compute. Maybe mining isn't the most valuable. Maybe we need to diversify. We're already seeing that. So yeah, if you're removing rewards, like that's definitely something. I mean, it's going to become less. And I mean, the question is, um, does something that is, cheaper to circulate, um, does that become more appealing relatively?
Do you think it'll be worth it considering energy demand from AI? Is the follow up.
Um, yeah, that's what I'm factoring in. All right, I got to make the switch because I have a meeting right at 4 today. So
All
I'll
right.
see you guys on the other side.
Yes, everybody, stick with me. George will be right back. We do the model portfolio at the end of the streams. If you guys are new, we'll make live updates. You'll get to see what George is adding, dropping, and on a day like today, pretty valuable info since the markets are still, it looks like, down quite a bit. Although we are off the lows and we're not down 2% anymore in the QQQ, just 1.98. So there we go. A little bit of buying the dip as we finish today. Let's check QQQ and SPY in Prospero. So Tom, I know you're new, so I could tell you we probably have more than just one new viewer, but if you haven't gotten our app yet, Tom, it's called the Prospero app. You can download it. We have signals for the QQQ, SPY, individual stocks, indexes, and we track the markets. And we are looking at QQQ now. It's reading a 4 in net option sentiment, and SPY is at 0, so no movement from the beginning of the streams. Tom said I actually have a meeting at 4 as well. Keep in touch. Sounds good. So we go live twice a week, Mondays 11 a.m., Wednesdays 3 p.m. typically. So hope to see you again soon. Thanks for stopping in. But we're not seeing any rise in the QQQ or SPY at the moment, although the market is kind of looking like it's maybe hit a low for the day. We shall see. We always get that 10-minute pop, so we'll see how it moves at 350. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the topics today. I'm sorry it was a little bit short. We got a few cut off, but tried to get through the meat of what's going on today in the markets and how our signals are viewing it. I think I am going to carry over this Tesla story to our Monday stream because I think it's an interesting conversation about the future of cars. Although this has been the second stream, it's been pushed back, but um, I'll make sure it's early on Monday, so we'll get to it in time before the stream is over. The ones we didn't get to today, probably just can a few of them. Take-Two pushing back GTA 6 until November of 2026. So if you guys are watching and didn't hear about that yet, another pushback. It was supposed to be May 2026, but it got pushed back again now. Yeah, but that's about it for the topics. Let me check myself. There we go. We're seeing no bounce for QQQ or SPY net option sentiment, George. Both still looking pretty bearish at 4 and 0.
Okay. We are gonna rush. We are rushing here. Okay. Okay, where's that pesky investing there? Okay. 0. Okay.
Today's investing letter is a must-read, you say? I'm sharing the link for it in the chat right now. If you guys missed it, you can click on that.
Where's my tunnel? Okay, we gotta remember above all, we are getting rid of space. We're gonna do the lazy thing and change the day. Sorry, everybody. Being lazy. Oh. 13. Okay. Need the shorts. Okay. Oh, space is up in momentum score too. Definitely. Yikes. Ooh. That is painful. Okay. We're actually going to add some longs. But we are going to add some longs that are asymmetrical. We have to go quickly. We're very behind here. Okay. This is a great long asymmetrical. What else? New York Times. I don't know about that. Let's diversify. Why not New York Times? Throwing some very interesting names at me here. BOG. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Rigetti. Can you look at Rigetti in the app and tell me what its net option sentiment trend line is like and what its technical flow is? I'm considering adding it in the
Net options trending down, currently at 37. Technical flow at 33.
Can you look at VNT?
VNT, net option sentiment 23, also downtrending. Technical 36.
You already have it in this financial services. All right, we are really flipping this portfolio, but that's what it needs. I think we're gonna do something pretty drastic, and that Rigetti is a short.
The end of quantum.
I know. All right, so that's done. We have a little bit of time left. I think we're gonna do it. Damn. All right. That's crazy. Okay. Is Garmin a win? Yes. Okay. So we're exiting coin, INTC, and SBC, and adding RDT up. I think that's everything that we want to do. Yeah, we might do a little more. Coin. Might leave coin one more day. Yeah, that's good. It's good to cover. So INTC. Let's get that. GRM. Done. Zion. Enter. Okay. Okay, we did it all. I have my meeting. No time for questions. Thanks everybody for joining. I'll have to send out this letter. I will see you all on Monday.
Yes. Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back Monday, 11 a.m., everybody. See you guys then. Have a great weekend.